Well, last Saturday I did a day of disability exams and I ran into an unusual number of problems that left me in a bad mood. So I decided to make a video about it. 10 things to avoid at your disability exam. And if you're easily triggered, you should find another channel to watch now. Hello, I'm John Foster. I'm a medical doctor who does Social Security disability exams. And as usual, everything I say reflects my own opinions based on my own experience and study, and not the opinions of the Social Security Administration or any other medical body. Now, the first thing not to do is to arrive late. And I had plenty of people arriving late with the usual nonsense excuses, being there was traffic or I couldn't find the office. Now, where I do my disability exams is a tourist town in the summer on a Saturday. You know there's going to be traffic, so leave early. Second of all, if you aren't absolutely, positively certain you know where the office is, find out ahead of time. Don't wander around with your GPS telling you to turn here and there and not be able to find the office. The office is on a main street. It has a large sign that's easy to read from the street, and there's always plenty of parking. I tell people if you get approved for disability at age 55, you're going to get 12 years of payments. Let's say they're $1,000 a month, which is pretty average for disability payments. That's $144,000, not including the Medicare you're going to get or any other benefits you may get from being disabled. If I told somebody, I have a check for you for $144,000, but you have to be at my office on time. If you're 1 second late, you don't get the check, believe me, they would show up early. And if you find this sort of thing interesting or useful, you might want to subscribe to my channel. I generally put out one disability-related video every Friday. The second issue is as soon as your exam begins, you pull out your notes and start reading from them. Now, I know these type of people want to be helpful, but here's the thing. I have to assess whether you're with the program, whether your thinking and memory are clear. And I can't tell that if all you do is read from notes. I'd like you to speak spontaneously. Then, towards the end, you can look at your notes and see if there's anything you've left out or forgotten. Believe me, if I can put in my report that you have obvious problems with your thinking or your memory, that's going to go a long way towards getting you approved for disability, but I have to see it myself. The third problem is people who believe that they're disabled because they've had a certain number of operations. Unfortunately, the number of operations you've had doesn't count. What counts is how you're doing now, what medical problems and limitations you've had now. When someone has an operation or more than one operation, some people get better, some people stay the same, some people get worse, and some people die. I've seen it all. What counts is how you are now. The person with the most number of operations I've seen in a disability exam, I can't recall exactly because it was a long time ago, but I believe it was more than 10, had had serious burns and had needed multiple operations. However, they'd healed up well. The only thing they had left was scarring, which limited the range of motion of their arms a little bit, but they certainly weren't disabled. On the other hand, this past Saturday, I saw someone who had a very unfortunate result of one operation that left them disabled. And to follow along with that, number 4 is that you aren't disabled because in the past you were very sick or had a bad accident. What counts, again, is how you are now. Sometimes I've reviewed somebody's record before their exam, and it sounds like they were near death in the hospital maybe 1 or 2 years ago. But when I see them, I'm surprised to see that they've made a tremendous recovery and are either all better or mostly better. The same with bad accidents. So don't focus on the sickness you had in the past or the accident you've had in the past. Focus on whatever limitations that sickness or accident have left you with now. And then aligned with that, number 5, just because something bad has happened to you doesn't mean that you have post-traumatic stress disorder. That's a common myth in today's society. Everyone has had bad things happen to them in their life. Most deal with it. What matters is how bad was it and how has it affected you and how has it left you now? What problems do you have now? I've seen people with real post-traumatic stress disorder. In fact, I had one person, a veteran, who obviously had serious problems with post-traumatic stress disorder this past Saturday. But I've also seen people who had something bad happen to them and recovered. Next, if you have problems with your spine, please don't lead off by trying to describe your MRI for me, for a number of reasons. Number 1, Social Security is always good about providing me with MRI results in advance, so I already know what your MRI has shown. Second, what I'm trying to find out are the things that no one can tell from your MRI. An MRI of the spine does not tell us if the person has pain, and if so, where is the pain and does it spread anywhere? An MRI of the spine doesn't tell us if the person has limitations of range of movement, and it doesn't tell us if there's nerve damage with subsequent numbness or muscle weakness. Only you can give me that information. So that's what you should be talking about. Next, when it comes to pictures, most of the time pictures aren't helpful, but sometimes they can be very helpful, particularly with conditions that come and go, such as a rash that comes and goes, or joint swelling and inflammation that comes and goes. If you've got some good pictures of something that comes and goes, and it isn't present on the day of your exam, put those pictures in a folder where you can find them easily. I now have a 60-second time limit on people scrolling through their photos, trying to find the doggone photo they want to show me out of the 10,000 photos they have on their phone. Get prepared in advance. Now, finally, I'm going to talk about being real about whether you're disabled or not. Most of the people I see who apply for disability have major medical problems. Some of them qualify for Social Security disability. Some of them aren't bad enough to qualify, but they have significant medical problems. Here's some things that will not qualify you for disability. If you are in a minor fender bender, when I want to evaluate someone who's been in an auto accident, I want to know, did they break any bones? Did they have any lacerations that needed surgery or stitches? Did they need surgery in the operating room? And were they admitted to the hospital? And admitted to the hospital means spending at least one night in the hospital, not going to the emergency room and going home. Many people who go to the emergency room and go home have very minor problems. As an example, I had one person sent from their job because they'd suffered a 1/4 inch superficial paper cut to their finger. That person was not disabled. Second of all, if you slip and fall from a standing position at Walmart, and it seems to always be Walmart, and the people who do this seem to always be very well padded with extra body fat, and that happened several years ago. I've seen people who tell me that. I have yet to see one who was permanently disabled. I'm sure somewhere on the planet such a person exists, but in general, those type of injuries heal up and don't cause permanent disability. Finally, number 10, please, please, please don't pretend or exaggerate. That's the kiss of death for your disability exam. Be straight with the doctor. Don't act, don't exaggerate, just do the best you can, tell the truth, and you'll have the absolute best chance of getting your disability application approved. Well, I hope this has been helpful, and as always, remember, if it happens, it's possible.